Welcome to Sunday Night Football.
Monday night.
No.
It's Monday night.
Monday Night Football.
Which is actually, a thing.
Tuesday Night Football.
Tuesday's tomorrow.
Wednesday Night Football.
How do I segue here?
Anyway, we're reviewing a track we've been hoping to review for a long time.
That's a hell of a segue, man.
It's called Assault, and it's almost about to hit 10,000 views.
Yeah.
Reno.
Reno. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Reno. This is also the first track to incorporate the feature idea, where it's like, hey, this is a big track by me featuring this person.
Yeah, which is cool. I've sort of adopted that format in Tournament of Legends now. Like Roborant was like Votail featuring Ghosty and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because that's
Someday
a good way to
I
put
can
it, because it's not. I mean, it's not really Votail and Ghosty, because Ghosty just did a little thing at the end. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Someday I hope I will have a track that has an Ariana Grande feature. Anyway, let's watch this.
All right, here we go. I should turn that. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
So we both had a part in this. I edited this thing, and your voice.
Yes, I didn't really do anything, but my voice is in it.
Strong, intense.
This is you.
This intro is so disconcerting to me.
Everything is as strong as
This intro is the most dramatic thing I've ever made.
Are you ready? Go.
And then he just throws you right out there. He's like, this is the expectation for the track. There's no time to react. It's just bam, 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 bam. One thing.
Honestly, I was pretty underwhelmed by this part.
It blew me away because it was just like, holy crap, wait, hold on, what?
It looked very monotonous to me. And then there was a part where I started right about here. Well, no. Where is it? Right here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here is when I was like, okay, I'm impressed now.
Wow. Yeah, just so fast and powerful, and then the airtime. And it's very dramatic.
I thought this Cramiel was sort of cheesy. It's like,
oh yeah, it looks totally
like this whole airtime section is like a little over the top, in my opinion.
Oh no, it's totally.
But I love these vertical lines and the spinning shapes and such. I'm not a fan of the fractal tree at all. Talked about more about that later, but it feels really epic because it feels like he's falling really fast, which is what he's doing. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this, which I'll maybe talk about later. But it's really cool, I guess. Then this,
the invisible line.
This is just like it's like for me it was like I didn't even know what I was seeing. I was like, what is happening here?
I haven't the slightest idea what's going on. And then the fling quirk is just kind of there.
It's a fling quirk, which I don't know. It's very strange to end a track like that with that for me. I love the QR code though.
Yeah, the QR code's great. I love that it works.
Yeah. I haven't been able to actually test it myself, but... Right, should we watch this in slow-mo?
Yeah! Let's go to...
Or actually, do you want to just watch the early part in slow-mo? Or do you want to watch the whole thing in slow-mo, or do you want to skip?
We'll skip after the airtime.
Okay.
It's like the most intense thing.
Alright, I'm at 17.
Are you ready? Go.
Okay, 17. Quarter speed. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
That's how the track starts as well. Go.
So, yeah, with my voice.
Yeah.
That's literally how the track starts. I think he said in the thread that like this was originally going to just be alt.
Just all of it.
I don't know. I feel like Strange Quark has a vibe that no one has really been able to replicate, and I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, the reason is because shortly after Strange Quark, when people were trying to make alt, was the Hedge era, and there was like no, like any frame of airtime is a waste of time. You know, it was like every frame he has to be doing something. You know. But the thing is, when you
feels
have
very experimental.
Strange Quark has lots of moments where there's like dead moments, or like moments where he just like stops for a second and then keeps going, or like he'll like pause on the line, and it feels very experimental that way. And then calling this alt, it's like it feels like a different genre to me than Strange Quark. And
I've heard it called progressive.
Progressive, yeah. I mean, you can call it progressive. For me, it feels like, I don't know, when you have something happening every frame, it feels very monotonous overall. Like the overall effect is very flat. It's just blah, 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 and just does that constantly, and you're like, okay, is that it?
There's something to be said for contrast.
There's everything to be said for contrast, in my opinion.
That is true.
Though you can't deny that it's very intense and powerful, and so then when it picks up, it's really impressive. At least that's what it was for me, you know?
Well, as soon as it gets... There's also a differing sense of space. Like, they're both pretty much on the same power level if you look at them.
Are they really?
But when you get to the super fast stuff, he's expanding. And I like it because it works with the music. You sort of have that choir in the background going, oh, and it feels like there's this sort of push, this expansion that really, honestly, works quite well.
I think it happens maybe right here. No, not yet.
We're close.
We're getting there.
About here. Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's not necessarily more powerful. It's just not as compact.
Tight.
It's a little more spread out, because it feels way more powerful to me when it's spread out a little more, and I feel like it would feel even more powerful if it was spread out even more. You know, ironically, I think if there was some frames of dead space between the giant stacks, that it would actually feel more powerful, you know?
I would have also liked to see this expansion sooner than the sort of choir thing.
I don't think that little shoulder fling, I don't think that fits, by the way. Yeah, It would have been nice to see it slowly expand and expand more over the course of that intro, but like it takes so long to get to like the good stuff, which is really just expanded, like this word we're using, expand, but whatever. It's like it takes a really long time for it to get there, and so then it starts, and you're like, okay, now it's picking up, and then it's airtime.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this cramp.
This airtime is just, it's so... I don't know, it strikes me as very corny, because it's like, and then it's like, daw, and he's just like, airtime, and it's like, it feels like, am I supposed to be impressed by this? You know, I can see why Chuggers had such a negative reaction to it, because it's like, really?
I mean, to be fair, when I made Knight Rider, I was also like, I had a brrr for the airtime.
Yeah, but Knight Rider had like something that's not just, here's Bosch falling. It was like, here's Bosch rising into the night sky with his sled, which is totally different, you know? This is what happens if you draw a line and then let him play. Like, just let him fall, you know? Alright, so now we're in this animation. See, I feel like this had a really cool idea, which is these vertical lines, and it worked really well. And to have these shapes moving around in the vertical lines worked really well. But it does a lot of other stuff that's like there's a bunch of other stuff that like this is the big one. It's like it doesn't create that sense of falling anymore. It's like we cut out of that falling feel, and now we're just looking at a thing that's like slowly moving, you know?
Yeah.
And it takes you out of the moment. I'm not sure how I feel about the boxes, the getting larger and smaller. I feel like it could have been cool if it had been used at a specific moment. I love this shape, though, this twisting thing. Do you have anything to say about this animation? I'm yakking away.
I also don't like the fractal tree. I hadn't really considered the idea of the falling motion until now. Do you know how Sheldon made these?
Yeah, he just connected them to the previous frames.
I love that it like gets more intense and it spirals toward this. But I don't really know what to say about this animation.
I don't know. it strikes me as like, okay, it's very dramatic, but why? You know, like it's
Yeah.
really intense, and it must have taken a lot of work. But why is there this crazy space explosion thing that says assault?
Because
And maybe that's mostly just because it doesn't fit with the previous part, which is the falling with the vertical lines and the shapes spinning.
it's because
or whatever,
Lukking ostensibly went set out to make something epic. He
Yeah,
was
I
like,
suppose.
This thing has to be epic. And so what
Now-
are
now
things
we have
that are epic?
let's talk about this first, because this is probably my favorite part of the track. It doesn't really make sense with the rest of the track, because it's like, okay, so it's a Line Rider track that's glitching out, and then he does it again, but like, how does this fit in with the falling and the alt quirk and the explosions? And I don't know, it's like, it's an amazing idea, you know? Like, it looks like nothing we've ever seen before, and
Right.
many people, when they first saw this, including myself, were like, is there something wrong with the video? Is my computer glitching out? You know? Which is really cool that's the effect that it creates. But, like, I don't know.
Well,
I guess I have a hard time getting behind the track when the message of the track is, we're going to try to make something that's just epic and just throw everything we possibly can at it. And there's a lot of new ideas, but they're not cohesive. They're just like, what's the most dramatic thing we can think of, you know?
It's a big old smorgasbord of really cool ideas with no sense of coherence other than they all follow along to a song.
Yeah, I mean, it's synced to music, and it's really dramatic. It's I want to talk a little bit about accessibility, because it's accessible in the fact that people can watch it and be like, what did I just see? That was crazy.
Right.
Versus, you know, a typical quirk where people don't even really understand if it's impressive or not. So this is like clearly very impressive, but at the same time, I don't feel like this is a track that's going to inspire anyone to be like, oh, I can do that, you know?
No.
It's a track that's,
this
if
does not
anything,
have
is
the
really going
unknown
to
factor.
turn people off from actually playing Line Rider. Maybe get people to subscribe, but, you know, they're not going to like...
This
They're not going
is a track that says to people, look at how hard it is to make these things.
Yeah.
I made a lot of things that are hard to do. Be impressed with how hard they are to do.
Yeah.
And
I am impressed with how hard they are to do.
I am impressed, but it doesn't make me want to make a track.
It doesn't make me want to do anything except maybe feel sorry for myself.
Yeah,
you know?
like, I can't ever make anything like this.
It's like,
so
or it would if I wasn't, you know, in Line Rider and having seen lots of tracks like this. Now it doesn't really faze me as much, but I mean, how many people reacted to Transcendental or Breathtaking Silence with, you know, I quit? You know, I'll never make something this good. Why should I keep going, you know?
This is also true.
But then Transcendental and Breathtaking Silence are also like huge sources of inspiration for lots of people, you know? Because
they're like, I can draw things in this sort of way.
Yeah, and
I
so
think
people can use them as inspiration. I feel like people could take bits and pieces from this, but you'd have to make something that uses them in a totally different way for it to be cohesive, you know?
Yeah, I commend Lukking for doing a lot of incredible things with limited resources.
Yeah.
That is Beta 2.
Yeah, this is still made in Beta 2. We have to remember that. So this was
still a very sort of hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And as an artistic endeavor, it's not all that great, but as just an exercise in as an exercise in skill and mastery of the game, it's great.
Yeah, it's very much a feat, an accomplishment, and I can understand why you'd be proud of it. And you know, it's very impressive. What is the I think this is Aristotle's like 3 rules for critiquing art, and
Yeah.
they're like oh gosh, what were you trying to do? Did you succeed? And was it worth doing? You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like number 2 for assault, did you succeed? Home run. You know? It succeeded in what it was trying to do. I feel like number 1, what were you trying to do, was a little muddled. It was kind of just crazy epic stuff. It wasn't like a clear goal.
Huh.
And then number 3 is the one that we're like taking the most issue with, which is like, was it worth doing? And I have a hard time feeling like this was an important track, you know?
Yeah.
It's a crazy track. It's a track that's hard to believe exists. It's a track that is really impressive, and it's a track that I can very easily understand why you're proud of. But was it worth doing? Like, was it, in the sense of what kind of impact will this track have on the world, you know?
Mhm.
In a really broad sense. You
Pretty broad.
go super broad here. Big picture.
But man, this got a lot of people talking.
It did.
Which is
It
good.
did. There was a lot of discussion, which is also a good thing. So that's
Is
cool.
power
And
dead?
I'm sure we'll see some of these ideas used in this track popping up in other places. Man.
Yes. People talk a lot about animation, but we haven't done a lot lately aside from like contact juggling. So it'll be interesting to see how people approach animation because it's still a very time-intensive thing.
I am hoping to be in the forefront of that, but we'll see how that goes.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Lukking made a great foray into
Yes.
several different ideas here.
And,
not all of them were executed perfectly, but it was still
But
an interesting watch.
the fact that this was completed is impressive, and you should be proud of that fact.
Yes.
You should be very proud that this exists.
Excellent. I would say that's a review done and done.
Yeah, I guess.
All
and
right.
Orpheus did the recording, right? And then Conundrum
Yeah.
did the audio editing, right?
There were like 5 people involved in this. So I can still like root for tracks if I edited them.
No, I do want to comment on something because I remember that when Sugars was like, "This track sucks," and Sheldon was like, "No, it doesn't." I remember one of the things that came up was, like, all this track is trying to be impressive, and then the response to that was, I don't remember who was saying what, but the response to that was, "What else is Line Rider about?" You know.
Huh.
And I think there's a lot more to Line Rider than being impressive.
Yeah.
I think Line Rider can be. I mean, I feel like that it might take a while before we can really understand what we can do with Line Rider that's not just impressive. But I feel like Line Rider can be elegant, like Happily Ever After. I feel like Line Rider can be funny, like Ragdoll.
Yep.
And I think there's more things we can tap into as well that haven't really been explored yet. More emotions we can elicit from our audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just looking back at this discussion. Just
Oh yeah. Anything in particular stand out to you?
so. First
Lots
off,
of people pooping bricks.
when Chuggers did his first critique, And Lukking just got salty.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Quote, "Thank you, Sam Storm, for your honest and well-thought-out review of this track. I also can't wait for your future tracks. How about Plasmic Road 23,948? Have a nice day."
See, that
Oh.
that is not how to respond to criticism, even if you don't like the criticism.
Like, and Sugars is, like, he's definitely moved beyond the Sam Storm style of tracks that he used to make. Unusuals in particular is a very interesting look at how we examine manuals.
Yeah, that's another review, but
That's another review. I did a really lengthy written review of that ages ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is 20 minutes, so I guess we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Lukking, we finally reviewed your track. Don't shoot us for
Ding,
not
ding.
showering it with praise, but I overall thumbs up, I guess.
Hey.
Overall thumbs up, but we can do more. Maybe not better in terms of bigger and crazier, but better
I think
in
we can
terms of
say more with less.
More meaningful, maybe. I don't know.
I stand by my statement. I think we can say more with less.
More with less. Well, that's what I've been trying to do. I don't know if you noticed, but
I mean, to be fair, Knight Rider was one of my attempts at that.
line. More with less. So take our reviews with a grain of salt because we are heavily biased in favor of doing more with less instead of more with more. There are some people who will always take the approach that more is more, and that is not an invalid way to approach art, you know?
That should be our tagline. Quick reviews. We're biased.
That's the whole tagline.
Just that.
Quick reviews with OTDE and Rabid. We're biased.
Yeah.
On that
Thumbs up.
note,
2 thumbs
have
up.
a good night.